Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar about the automation module in WebCRM. We're going to start shortly showing some different examples of automations in WebCRM. But firstly, I want to shortly introduce myself. My name is Christopher, and I'm a functional consultant here at Efficy, working with our WebCRM product. With me, I also have my colleague Nicoline, who is listening in and keeping track of the chat and questions throughout the webinar. So if you hear a female voice later on, that's just her. First of all, this session will be recorded and shared along with the presentation deck that I'm showing right now, and you can ask questions at the end of the call via the chat, or you can ask them throughout the session, and then we'll pick them up later on if they're not relevant to the specific topic we're going through. Yeah, and if we don't have time to answer all the questions during the call, we'll follow up with you afterwards. So don't worry, we'll make sure to answer all your questions. Then I want to talk a little bit about what's in for you. Why should you keep listening, and why should you look this webinar through when you get the recording afterwards as well? We have some great options to automate your processes in WebCRM. We can help enrich your data across entities without rekeying, so you don't have to type the same thing in different entities in the system. And we can create some great flows to improve the relation with your customers to make sure to follow up on offers and opportunities, and making sure that you have some good relations with your customers. The agenda for today is shortly what is automation in WebCRM, how is it used, and how do you customize it, and then we'll have the Q&A afterwards. I'm going to jump out of the deck now and show my system here. If we start from the front page of WebCRM here, we have the option to go up here in the cogwheel up here and under utilities. And then we have this tab called automation. This feature is a paid feature in WebCRM, so you would have to pay to be able to set these up, but there's no limit of how many you can set up. I've made some in advance, and if we have time, we can maybe go through a new example at the end. But if we start from one of the more simple ones, we have this one where it's a sign up for newsletter, first email. If I go into this one, you can see this is how the automation is built. We have the first trigger. So what is the one, like what is the one triggering the automation? So for this one, it is when a person is created or updated. So we set it up here when the event type, and then we have conditions. That is where you filter out who you want to have go through this flow. So if I go into the condition here, we have set up that some of the fields, apps and subscription, should be any of the following, and they have the mark in here. Then we just set another condition that it should only be the organization with a specific system ID, but that's because we want to make sure that we don't send emails out to someone who is not supposed to have them. So this is just a test system. So if someone else were to test, we would want to make sure that we don't send any emails to them. Then if they live up to this condition and one of these fields is marked, it would go through this one with the yes, and then we would send the email. And here I can choose that I want to send it from a specific email. This one needs to have access to send from your WebSam system. If you have set up an info mail or something like that, you could also use that. And then the receiver of this email is the person's email. So it's fetching the email from the person that is created or being updated. Then we have a template that we made beforehand that we're just choosing here, that this is the one that should be sent out to the customer. If I quickly show this email, we have this one. So this is an email that would be sent to the customer where we're fetching the name of the customer and also an unsubscribe link. So if they want to unsubscribe again, they're able to do that. We also have quite the same, but that is where a customer asks for a sign up for a white paper. It's the same with it's when a person is created and when the condition is met here that a field called white paper is ticked, then we send the email. And this is a different email where we have the link to the white paper that they want to have. So when a customer is using one of our contact forms, we don't need to do anything. It's just sent automatically right away. Then if we go into some more specific automations, for example, if you have activities or to-dos in WebSam and you want to have an email reminder when the activity is due, then we have this one. This one is a little bit different. So it's not when an activity is created or updated, it's when the activity time is reached. So when the date and hour that we have on activities in here, when we reach that, this automation starts. So this condition is that we want to have the action of the activity to be the value follow up with email reminder. So if I were to create an activity, I can just use WebSam as an example. And I create an activity here, and I'll just pick myself and test for a webinar, and then I choose the action called follow up with email reminder. I'm just gonna push it forward to 9:40. So now I have this activity, and when this time is reached, it will send me an email with a reminder that I need to do something with it. And what is really smart about this one is that in this email that I'm sending with the reminder, here it is. I put in a specific merge field for the activity link. So it's linking directly into the specific activity that I need to do something with. So when I receive the email, I can see that it's regarding a specific organization, a specific person, but then I have a link directly into WebSam where I can fill in the information that I need to do, or maybe push uh, the the activity for the next day if I don't reach the customer. Mm. Then I have another one that is also with the trigger type entity event. So it's when when a pipeline or an opportunity is created or updated. I have a condition where when the pipeline level is set to lost, I want to make sure that we follow up afterwards. So I set it up to create an activity for the salesperson. And we set it for the current date plus 6 months. And then we set up the different fields that we want to fill in. So we have we want the action to be called back. The description we call callback lost upper, and then we have the merge field into the opportunity description, and it's planned. And we also have the here we said that the sales contact from the opportunity that we had should also be the contact for the activity, as well as the sales responsible should also be the responsible of the activity. While I was talking, I just got the reminder for my activity, so I'm just going to open it up to show you. So this is how it looks. I have the link directly into WebSerm, and when I open this, it opens up the activity where I can start typing in the log, and I can push the date if I want to do that, or if there's something else I need to do. For this one, you could also have the action for follow up with email reminder to make sure that the salesperson also is notified in Outlook where they when they need to contact the customer. But this is a nice way to add some different information for the salesperson when they need to contact the customer again. We also have the option to add something to the log. So here I add the different lost fields. So we have the reason. Is it because of the price? Is it because of that we were too slow, or what was that? And then we have the second one, which is more if we lost it to a competitor, and then we also have the comment if that is the case. So when this happens, we get a new activity where we have all the information in the activity, and we don't need to look around in the system for them. We also set up where we have a direct link over to the opportunity here. So if I were to do this one, if I create a new opportunity with myself, and I create this one, let's say I've been talking to the customer for a while and suddenly it's lost. As it's lost, I can set the reason. It was the price, and we lost it to competitor 1. And then this one is lost. And when I go into WebSam again and look under the activity, I can see it didn't fetch the right description. But then we have the the different information in this one. Then we also have then we also have one here where it's to create an opportunity from a support case, and you can see here that it's a manual one, so it doesn't trigger based on time or based on a specific field. It's a button that you have in the top that you can press. So if I go in here, this one was not updated, but we'll call it opportunity from support case. Here I added a new label or new field called interested in number of hours consultancy. And when we press this button in the top, I wanted to create an opportunity, and I just set up the different aspects that or different fields that I wanted to fill in. And I also set it up to create something in the log as well, and then send a notification for the salesperson. So when I'm in a support case, let's say this one, I have this button in the top here where I can press, and then we have opportunity from support case. And when I press this one, I can fill in how many hours the customer is interested in. So let's say it's 4 hours, and I'll submit this. Now it's submitted, and when I go into the customer, I can see, oh, it's still it's creating an order instead of an opportunity. But then you can set it up to create an opportunity if you want that as well. But then I already have filled in the sales contact from the support case, the responsible. Now it's what do you call it? A support user. And this one I'll just save. So here you can see we have all the information, and down here we also have the log where we can see when it was created by the automation. And I just put in the comment how many hours the customer wanted. Oh, I can see it's because it's an old one actually from another test. So that's maybe why it wasn't. Uh, I'll just have to see. This is also a good case for you to see. We have the actions up here where we have the status and log, where we can go in and see what happened. And we can see this one failed, where it said it was a bad request, so it couldn't find the correct pipeline that I set in. So if I go in here, I can change this one and then set it for first contact instead and save that. So now it should be able to create this one. We'll try to see. See, now it succeeded instead, and I can see it started, the different actions that it took. So it created the opportunity, it added the comment, and it sent a notification for the salesperson. So now I can see up here, it just says test, but we can open this one. And then we have the opportunity where we can add the different information that we need, or even the quotation lines. And you can see here, customers interested in buying 4 hours, please reach out to them. So this is an opportunity for Opry to follow up on. Then I also have one here that is called scheduled, and that is when you wanted to do something specific at a different or at a specific time interval. So if I go into this one, it's a scheduled trigger. So I set it up here to be repeat every day or every day Monday to Friday, or maybe every week or every month. For this example, I set up a sales report. So the next step here, I'm exporting a report. So I just took one of the report or overviews that I have in the system, and I said that is the one I want to export. And then I sent the email here. I can say which email it's sent from and also to which email I wanted to send to. So maybe if you want to send it to board members or maybe a COO or CEO, then you can add them here. And then I just set up a very short template. Hi all, please see sales report in attached document. Best regard, Christopher. And if I open it up in here, in my email, this is how it looks. And then I have the export here that I can open up and see the export that was done. Another example that I have is, for example, the satisfaction survey. We would really like to track how happy the customer is with our deliveries. So for this one, it is when an order is created or updated. And the condition, this one is just to not spam the test customers, but this one is when the status is changed to complete, and the delivery satisfaction is blank, we want to send an email to the customer with an email where we have a form in that they can fill out. So when they get this email, it would be this email here, where we have the text here, and then we have the merge into the form that we have. And if I open the form as well for you to see, then you can see it's very simple setup, but it's just where we want them to fill in if they have like the satisfaction level of the delivery. So when someone gets this email, they would just fill in and then submit it. So it would be, I'm not sure if we have one that is filled in, but if I go into a order here, you can see this delivery satisfaction would be filled in with whatever they choose to give you of satisfaction. Um, I think that was all the automations that I have for now. Is there any questions so far?
No questions so far, but let's give it another couple minutes and see
Yeah,
if
sure.
anything comes up.
Yeah, I can just show in the meanwhile how you create a new one. So when you are in this view with the automation, you press the plus up here and it starts to create a new flow. I'll just call it test for a webinar. And then you choose which type of trigger you want. So the entity event is when something happens on an entity, for example, an organization, an opportunity, an order, or an activity. So when something happens, it's created or updated, you want to do something. The entity time is where we're looking at different, we can choose different date fields and date time fields. So if you have, for example, the date of the activity or date of the opportunity or order, or you have a custom field with a date in, for example, if you have a date field for when if you have a date field for a lead when they're out of like the binding period of their former contract with a different subscription or something like that, you can set it up to give you a reminder about that. We have the manual one where you can have the button as I showed in the support module, and we also have the scheduled where it's in a specific time interval that it's doing something, sending something out, or maybe updating something in your system or pulling out a report or something like that. And then we also have the email event that I actually forgot about. So that one I'm also going to go through. Email event is when you have email tracking in the system, you can also use that as a trigger. So for example, when a customer open or click a specific link in the email that you're sending, you can choose that as a trigger as well. So if we have this one, when I'm sending an email from an opportunity, this one is just to filter out all the other. So this is to make sure that we don't spam anyone else or do something. But when the email address is equal to this one that we use for testing, I'm looking for an activity in the system because I want to make sure that we didn't already create the activity that I want to create. So if the description is customer opened the offer, we just leave the flow, but if we don't find any activity that we want to create, we are creating a new activity here where we have the action follow-up email and the description customer opened the offer. And then we can add to the log that the customer opened the email, please follow up with the customer. What you need to be aware of if you use this open event is that some spam filters and stuff like that in Outlook and in Gmail, they would trigger the open as well when they're scanning the email. So sometimes it might be better to use the click. So when they click a specific link in the email, you are able to start this flow here. Based on these email tracking, we also have something in here where these are the sendings that I have made from our test system. I don't have that many opens and clicks on this one, but if I were to press here, I could see the email that I sent. And if I press out here, I can see the statistics. So I can see how did this email sending perform in the system. I can see the number of views, the number of clicks, and I can choose the time span that I want to see. And if we want to split it on days or maybe month or maybe quarters. So it's easy to have some visuals of how it's going. You can also compare these. So if I want to compare this one and this one, I can compare up here, and then we can see how it's performing. When you're comparing, it's based on the first day of sending and then number of days after that. So you're not comparing specific dates because you might not send them on the same date. So this is a little bit more, a little bit better way to compare them because then it's from the sending date and then number of days or number of months after the sending. So here you can see that I can hover over and see how many views did I get on this sending here. So that was 2, but I didn't get any clicks on the link that I have in the email. And on this one I had 1 click, but I had 3 views as well. So this is a really nice way to compare the different sendings. So we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you for listening in, and I hope you have a great day.